Hello everyone! There are tons of amazing Metroidvania games out there, but a few of them? They're just on another level. And today, I'm giving you guys a list of Metroidvania games that, for me, deserve a perfect 10 out of 10 rating. Well, let's get into the list. Afterimage is a hand-drawn Metroidvania that's not just beautiful to look at, but also super fun to explore. Every area feels like a moving painting. You'll travel through colorful forests, mysterious ruins, and dreamlike cities, all filled with detail. The art style alone makes you want to keep going just to see what's next. But visuals aren't everything, right? Luckily, Afterimage backs it up with really smooth gameplay. The combat feels sharp and satisfying. If there's one small downside, it's that the map can get a little confusing at times. There are tons of paths, and sometimes it's hard to remember where to go next. But honestly, that's part of the charm. It encourages you to explore and get lost in this world. Laika Aged Through Blood is a wild mix of a motorcycle action game and a post-apocalyptic story about revenge, survival, and family. The gameplay is where it really shines. Imagine a mix of Trials bike physics and Metroidvania exploration. You're constantly zipping across huge landscapes, pulling off mid-air tricks, shooting enemies upside down, and chaining kills in one smooth motion. It feels fast, risky, and super satisfying when you nail it. But it's not just action. The story hits hard too. It's told through quiet moments, emotional scenes, and haunting music. It's about loss, revenge, and how far a mother will go to protect what's left. It's dark, but it has heart. Worldless is a stylish and unique Metroidvania that mixes fast-paced movement with deep turn-based combat. Right away, Worldless stands out with its look. The world feels abstract, glowing shapes, floating landscapes, and creatures made of light and shadow. It's minimal, but it's beautiful. Every part of the world feels like it has a secret to tell, and exploring it is just relaxing and interesting at the same time. Now, the most exciting part of Worldless is the combat. It's not your usual hack and slash. Instead, it mixes turn-based and real-time action. You can block, parry, and counterattack, but also use your turn to unleash powerful combos. It feels strategic, but still intense, like a mix between a rhythm game and an RPG battle. Salt and Sanctuary is a dark 2D action RPG that basically feels like Dark Souls turned into a hand-drawn Metroidvania. The game's customization is where it really shines. You can choose from tons of weapons, swords, axes, magic, bows, and each one changes how you fight. And speaking of the game's Souls-like element, you'll die a lot. But every time you learn something new, it feels awesome when you finally beat that boss that crushed you 10 times before. Furthermore, the art style fits perfectly too. Everything looks gritty and hand-drawn, giving the game this eerie storybook vibe. Combined with the haunting soundtrack, it nails that dark, lonely feeling of being trapped in a doomed world. Ori and the Blind Forest is a game that's not just beautiful to look at, but also an emotional and challenging adventure that sticks with you long after you finish it. Right from the opening scene, the game hits you with its emotion. It tells a touching story about love, loss, and hope, without even using much dialogue. It's one of those games that instantly pulls you in with its atmosphere alone. But it's not just about looks. The gameplay is also amazing as well. Ori is a smooth, fast-paced platformer with tight controls that make every jump and dash feel amazing. The Definitive Edition adds new abilities and areas, making the world even more fun to explore. Blasphemous is a brutal, dark, and incredibly stylish Metroidvania that mixes fast-paced combat, deep lore, and jaw-dropping pixel art. The first thing you'll notice about Blasphemous is the atmosphere. Everything feels heavy, eerie, and mysterious, full of twisted creatures, religious imagery, and strange characters. In addition to the game's amazing atmosphere, the combat is also what makes Blasphemous so exciting. It's fast, precise, and unforgiving. Every swing, dodge, and parry matters. You can feel the weight behind every hit, and when you land a perfect combo or pull off an execution, it's insanely satisfying. Aeterna Noctis is a massive Metroidvania that mixes fast, skill-based platforming with intense combat and a world that feels huge and alive. You'll be jumping across deadly traps one moment and fighting huge bosses the next. It's one of the things the game is known for. The platforming challenges are super precise. You'll need to master movement timing, but here's the thing. It's hard in a good way. The controls are tight and responsive, so when you mess up, it usually feels like your fault, not the game's. And when you finally pull off a tricky section after a few dozen tries, it's really satisfying. So yeah, Aeterna Noctis is tough, but if you enjoy skill-based platforming that pushes your limits, you'll probably love it. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is a gothic Metroidvania made by one of the creators of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. If you've been missing that classic Metroidvania magic, this game brings it back in a big way. What makes Bloodstained so exciting is the freedom it gives you. You're not just running and slashing, you're collecting hundreds of different shards, each giving you new powers. You can summon monsters, shoot fireballs, speed around, or even control time. There's so much variety that it's easy to find a playstyle that fits you. On top of that, you've also got tons of weapons to choose from. Swords, whips, guns, even kung fu shoes. You can mix and match everything, experiment, and come up with crazy combos. Animal Well is a mysterious pixel art puzzle Metroidvania that's full of secrets, atmosphere, and strange creatures. What makes Animal Well exciting is the way it rewards curiosity. The game doesn't give you obvious hints. You figure things out by exploring, experimenting, and paying attention to tiny details. You'll find new items that completely change how you move or interact with the world, and suddenly areas that looked impossible before start to make sense. The puzzles are clever too. They're never unfair, but they make you think. Sometimes the solution is hidden in the environment, or in how animals react to what you do. It gives you that aha moment that feels super satisfying when you finally figure it out. Ender Lilies' Quietus of the Nights is a dark and emotional Metroidvania that mixes beautiful visuals and fast-paced Souls-like combat. It's calm, tragic, and brutal all at once, and that's what makes it special. The combat of Ender Lilies is unique and exciting. Lily doesn't fight directly. Instead, she summons the spirits of fallen warriors to battle for her. You can mix and match different spirits, each with unique attacks such as swords, bows, magic, or even giant monsters. Building your perfect combo setup feels great, and trying new ones keeps the combat fresh. And speaking of the game's amazing atmosphere, it has a beautiful music as well. The soft piano and strings perfectly match the emotional tone of the story. Metroid Dread is one of those games that reminds you why this series started a whole Metroidvania genre in the first place. Right from the start, Metroid Dread feels amazing to play. Controlling Samus Aran has never felt this smooth and responsive. Every jump, slide, and counterattack just feels right. It's fast, fluid, and so satisfying. If you've played games like Ori or Hollow Knight, you'll feel right at home here. But Metroid Dread stands out because it stays true to its roots while also adding modern gameplay improvements. In the end, this game is one of the best Metroid experiences ever made. It's intense, rewarding, and full of that old-school exploration the series is known for. Blasphemous 2 takes everything great about the first game and makes it even better. The biggest upgrade here is the gameplay. The combat feels faster and smoother than before, and you can choose between 3 different weapons, each with its own playstyle. One is fast and light, another hits slow but hard, and the third lets you mix range and power. This gives you freedom to play how you want, which makes every fight more fun. Visually, the game is also even more stunning. The pixel art is more detailed, the animations are smoother, and the backgrounds are breathtaking. All in all, Blasphemous 2 feels like a true evolution of the series. Nine Sols is one of those games that instantly grabs your attention. It mixes fast, Sekiro-style combat with a world inspired by Asian mythology and cyberpunk themes. The result is something unique, stylish, and full of energy. Unlike many Metroidvania-style games, Nine Sols focuses a lot on countering and defense. The game is all about timing and precision. You can't just mash buttons here. You need to stay calm, read enemy movements, and strike at the right moment. It's challenging, but when you get into the rhythm, it feels amazing. The boss fights are a highlight too. Each one feels like a test of skill with creative designs and attack patterns that keep you on your toes. Ender Magnolia is the follow-up to Ender Lilies, and it's set in the same world just years later. It keeps that haunting, emotional tone, but builds on it with smoother gameplay, better visuals, and a world that feels alive in every corner. The game's combat is similar to its prequel. You will control Lilac, and herself doesn't fight. She summons these homunculi to do the battling, which makes combat feel unique and tactical. Early on, you meet Nola, a sword fighter who handles your melee attacks. Later, you recruit others, like Lito, who can freeze enemies, or Moonin, a floating owl who attacks from range. Each one brings something new to combat and exploration, so the game keeps evolving as you go. Prince of Persia. The Lost Crown brings the series back after years of silence, and instead of going full 3D like the old titles, this one takes things back to a 2.5D Metroidvania style. Just you would expect from the game's AAA production, this game is easily one of the most responsive Metroidvania I've played in years. Our character, Sargon, moves like lightning. Wall running, flipping, dodging, and chaining combos all feel buttery smooth. The controls are tight, and once you get the hang of it, flying across platforms and chaining attacks feels amazing. Then there are the bosses, big, cinematic, and intense. Each one pushes you to master movement and timing, and beating them feels super rewarding. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is one of those games that just makes you stop and go, wow. It's beautiful, emotional, and crazy fun to play. If you liked Ori and the Blind Forest, this sequel takes everything that game did right and cranks it up even more. One big upgrade from the first game is the combat. You now have a proper weapon system. You can equip swords, bows, or magic attacks and switch between them on the fly. Fights feel way more dynamic and satisfying this time. The enemies and bosses also look amazing, each one pushing you to use every ability you've got. So yeah, Ori and the Will of the Wisps is pure magic. Beautiful, challenging, emotional, everything a great game should be. Hollow Knight is one of those games that pulls you in without even trying. You start it thinking, okay, I'll just play for a bit, and suddenly, hours have gone by. The gameplay is simple to learn, but super deep once you get into it. You move, jump, and attack with precision, and the controls are smooth. Every swing and dodge feels perfect. Furthermore, the enemies all have unique attack patterns, and the bosses, they're incredible. Every boss fight feels like a test of skill and patience. Some will frustrate you, but when you finally win, it's one of the best feelings ever. So yeah, if you think Hollow Knight is hard, then just get good. Castlevania Symphony of the Night isn't just a classic, it's the game that defined a genre. It's the Vania in Metroidvania. And even after all these years, it's still one of the best examples of exploration, style, and gameplay done right. What makes Symphony of the Night exciting is how free it feels. There's no strict path, you can go almost anywhere as long as you have the right abilities. You slowly unlock powers like double jumps, turning into a bat, or even transforming into mist to slip through walls. That feeling of progression, of getting stronger and discovering new places, is what makes it so addictive. After years of waiting, Silksong is finally here and the game truly delivers. Silksong might have started as an expansion, but it's clear this is much more than that. The movement, combat, and world design all feel familiar, but everything is sharper, faster, and more focused. Hornet isn't as tough as the first game's hero, but she's far more flexible. You'll dodge, parry, and strike in quick bursts. And when everything clicks, battles feel like an intense dance. And story-wise, Silksong shines because of Hornet herself. She's not a silent hero like the first game's character. She has personality, voice, and purpose. In the first game, she was both your rival and your guide. Now, you get to see her side of the story. Super Metroid is a true classic, right up there with Symphony of the Night. It's one of the games that made the Metroidvania genre what it is today. What makes Super Metroid exciting is how it builds that sense of discovery. The map is massive and interconnected, filled with hidden upgrades, secret passages, and areas that you can only reach once you found the right ability. There's no hand-holding here, the game trusts you to explore and figure things out on your own, and that's what makes every discovery feel earned. Super Metroid is still one of the greatest games ever made because it does everything right. The exploration, the pacing, the upgrades, the music, it all comes together perfectly. That's all for today's list. Subscribe and like for more new, exciting Metroidvania games. That's it, and see you next time.